Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about demons as we get into life during a demon incursion. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day, and if you have any suggestions, just comment down below. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on life during a demon incursion. To be engulfed in the Warp Rift is one of the most horrendous fates that can befall a planet. Both the populace and the world itself are twisted and tortured by the demons of chaos. Such was the doom of Torreus. When contact was re-established with the planet, after it had been cut off by warp storms for nearly 300 years, Imperial forces found a world that had been utterly changed. Gone were the thriving metropolises, the farmlands, the towering cathedrals, and the palaces. In their place stretched warp devastation, great fissures filled with bones that filled the landscape, brass towers stretching into the storm-filled skies, huge mutant beasts hunting through the dark forests of petrified trees. The stench of blood and sulfur made men wrench. The air itself burnt their eyes and caused their hair to fall out in disgusting clumps. The cities held horrors of their own. Stretched faces stared from brick and stone. Maze-like alleyways were filled with haunting whispers. The walls were burnt with shadows of men, women, and children, which silently withered in hunchback and clawed-fingered agony. The sewers, heaved with monstrous rats, and fountains of slime and gore burst through the cracked pavements and roads. Once golden domes were slicked with filth. Crows with blood-matted feather and glowing red eyes nested under buildings dripping with thick ichor. Statues of imperial commanders and saints that had sprouted horns and wings and seemed to change position when not looked at. The chill night brought its own terrors, as the boiling storm clouds parted to reveal a purple moon upon which leered a grinning fanged mouth. Skeletal bats, as large as thunderbolt fighters, swooped through the sick-hued skies. The stars danced and whirled around each other, tracing foul runes with their glittering trails. Bestial howls echoed from the hillsides, and the empty streets reverberated to the crunching of teeth gnawing upon bones. Archaeal diviners of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica arrived to investigate what had become of the planet and the 3 billion souls that had lived there. As soon as they reached the surface, the Psychers were overwhelmed by the residual chaos tainting of the planet. One went mad and attacked his fellows. He was only stopped when his head was chopped off. 2 others perished miserably, their bodies aging and rotting as if centuries passed with every day. The remaining 3 were driven insane over the following days as they were assailed by visions of what had befallen the world. To this day, Inquisitors pore over the transcripts of the Archaeal Diviners' lunatic ravings and sobbing moans, trying to glean as much knowledge as possible on the foul spawns of the warp. The demonic attack was heralded by a week of strange omens. In the temple of the Emperor Sanctified, blood dripped from the claws of the golden eagles above the altar. Astropaths vomited blood and wailed of a great ring of fire burning in the heavens. Birds were seen flying backwards, and the clocks at the city of Geheim stopped at 2 minutes to midnight. The daughter of the Imperial commander attacked her father and tried to bite out his throat. Rioting mobs filled the streets, and the Adeptus Arbitus precinct was overrun by a plague of carnivorous toads. At a farm in the hinterlands, a Grox was born with the head of a fish and the tail of a lion. When the Warp Rift finally engulfed the planet, it appeared in the skies as a pulsating ring of purple fire. The orbital station imploded, and high-altitude auguries rained down onto the surface as blazing comets of molten metal. Fires engulfed the forest, their flames rising high in the air, and crackling minions of Tzeentch came from the magical inferno. A pool of shadow swallowed the town of Kleist Hollows, as pustulant servants of Nurgle and seductive demons of Slaanesh pulled themselves from the shimmering, oily depths. All across the Doom world, portals opened, and a host of demons poured forth. The soldiers of the planet fought vainly against the rampaging hordes. War raged on the flanks of Torreus' highest volcano, Mount Magathon, as the legions of the Bloodthirster butchered 50,000 Imperial servants. Great skull-like caves burst from the rocky ground, and from their maws, rivers of lava poured down onto the beleaguered defenders of the planet. An army of bloodletters heaped the skulls of the slain into burning fissures, and crimson smog filled the skies. Twisted spires of bone, created in the shape of dismembered corpses, towered over the volcano's summit. Fire and blood engulfed the plains around the mountain, turning farms and towns into gore-drenched cinder. The bloodthirster surveyed his dominion. He sat upon a brass throne that drifted within the roaring flames at the volcano's peak. The palaces of the Imperial Commander were besieged by hosts of pink horrors, screamers, demonettes, and plague-bearers, all led by the demon prince of Tzeentch. The commander's personal guard retreated their lord to the inner sanctum of the palace of Ruminus, but physical defenses were no proof against their demonic foes. Monstrous juggernauts appeared in the midst of the defenders, trampling and goring with bloody abandon, while the bloodletters, riding upon their backs, wantonly hacked and slashed at everything within reach. The greater demon of Tzeentch stormed through the panicked soldiers at the head of his horde, blasting apart heads and limbs with bolts of blue and pink lightning. The Imperial commander fell to his knees at the feet of the great demon and pleaded for his life. The demon prince, cruel laughter echoed around the inner sanctum as he invoked the name of his master and unleashed a spell of change of unprecedented power. Mystical flames raged through the citadel, burning everything. From the ashes rose great shards of crystal and jagged mirrors that reflected the warped landscape of the realm of chaos. Two twin columns of fire rose into the sky, echoes of the towers of Helix that flanked the doorways of Tzeentch's library, their flames flickering with the screaming souls of the damned. Between their flaming pinnacles burned a golden sun, which blinded every mortal that looked upon it. All of the planet bent and twisted to the insane whims of the demonic conquerors. Vast mountains of skulls dwarfed the highlands. The city of Churubis drowned in lakes of blood, and then rose from the depths, its inhabitants choking and covered in gore, only to be drowned again and again. The cruel laughter of demonettes could be heard across the plains of Antares, as they hunted thousands of humans from the backs of serpentine mounts. Weeping mortals were caged in bars of smoldering brass and brought out one at a time to be hacked apart by leering bloodletters. The tallyman of Nurgle, Epidemius, rounded up millions of refugees and had them incarcerated within a great wall of flesh. Here he set to cataloging each and every blemish, spot, boil, and pox upon them, before feeding them to a pack of slobbering beasts of Nurgle. And then the warp rift began to falter. Sensing that their grip of this world was beginning to weaken, the demons unleashed ever more heinous acts of corruption and depravity. They set to slaughtering every creature they could find, distilling down their essence in immense soul furnaces that blotted out the sun and swathed the world in pitch blackness. The screams of the dying were etched in the rocks themselves, whose shapes were altered by the warping powers of chaos. Eventually the rift closed, and the demons vanished, leaving a world changed beyond comprehension. There was nothing left of the planet as it had been known, and in a rare moment of mercy, the planet was virus-bombed to remove any vestige of life that might have survived such heinous torment. In the words of the Inquisitor Thrax, who was charged with leading the Exterminatus mission, chaos had left its taint in every root, stone, and atom. Torres heaved and wailed in its agonizing death throes, and we ended its misery. There was nothing else that we could have done. And those were 40 facts on life during a demon incursion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to share it with your friends on Facebook, Reddit, whatever social media you guys use. If you have a demon player, share this video with them. Or if you have somebody who is really into lore building, share this video with them, and they can get inspiration from this demon incursion. This is coming straight from GW, so this is from the Chaos Demon Codex. I can't remember what edition it is. It's either going to be 3rd, 4th, or 5th. And as you can tell, or as obvious as it is, Chaos incursions are just horrible for humanity. The worst part about this is that it was all 4 chaos gods that plagued the planet. And by the look of it, there were some pretty hardcore demons that actually entered the world. You had the Demon of Khorne, you have the Tallyman of Nurgle, and then you had Tzeentch, the Greater Demon of Tzeentch. So that just goes to show you that this planet was either a planet that was very susceptible to the warp portal, or it was something that all 4 Chaos Gods wanted. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. If you guys have any other suggestions for topics, comment down below. If you guys enjoy our videos and you want to see more, help us out. Jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos for you guys. If you can't, we understand. Simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, it helps out the channel. But yeah, thanks for everything, guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.